It's Têkkel Thursday, and welcome to our Têkkel Live Show. Good evening, Alberic. Good to have you back. It's been an indifferent few weeks with the load shedding, but we try to do what we can.
Yeah, no, it definitely has been one of those up and down times. Guys, sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. But yeah, I'm here. Ons kan nie Têkkel weer mis nie, man. Yes, ons het lank sit in kuier. Ons het baie om te gesels, hy nie. Baie om te gesels vanaand. But yeah, it's going to be a lekker show. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for those guys online. Again, apologies. This load shedding thing really impacting what we want to do, and obviously impacting the guests that we want to have on the show. Yeah. We'll have a brief chat with someone later on tonight. As our flyer said, we'll have a chat about a wonderful production that will be playing out later in this month at the Artscape Theatre. So we'll chat about that, and also an opportunity for you guys to win 2 tickets to that wonderful show. But before we talk too much, Barrick, it's going to be an action-packed show. We're going to speak about the Springboks and how they've done thus far. We need to touch on the Proteas. We know that they've, unfortunately, I wouldn't say, against all odds. We expected them to go a little bit further than what they did, but again, dropping us as a nation. A really poor performance by the Proteas in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the same old man. Ek weet nou nie wat dit is nie, man. Jy sê ek nou probeer dink, is dit die coach, is dit die spelers? Wat is dit dat die manne net nie kan, the great teams know when to switch gear. The English, the Pakistanis were dead and buried. They were out. They were facing, out of to be like they had a shock loss early in the tournament, and they were and here all of a sudden they're playing in the final. Final, yeah. So yeah, it's the Proteas just don't know when to turn it up, and it's so sad, man. It's just like I said, I think I spoke to you also. In between the series, I was saying that the Proteas just know how to get your hopes up high. That's what they do.
Yeah, I know, and it's really unfortunate, and it's also, I think, the outcry and the real disappointment for the fans, and we are part of those. Yeah. That really, I think in the beginning of the T20 series, we spoke about it and we said, isn't it now the time for the Proteas to go all the way? But it's the manner in which they crashed out, manner in which they crashed out, and not even getting through those phases of the pool that we thought that they would progress to. We said perhaps a semi-final. They were good enough. They had the team. They even played some spectacular cricket in some instances of the competition where they were, I would say, not the favorites, but really coming up with the goods. But in the matches that really mattered, they did not perform, and again, true to their performance over the years in knockout competitions, they are just not made for it at all.
I mean, it's very disheartening to think that a team with such great stars. And if you look at the team, I mean, they had some very great play. I mean, look at KG was in there, you had Ngidi was in there, you had some big names in there that have really plied the trade in the IPL, and for some reason these guys just don't know how to pull it through when they wear the green jumper for the Proteas. And it's just I don't know, it's a mental thing. It could be mental, it could not. It's mind-boggling. I don't have any words to describe it. You can't say it's the coach. These players. Look, there is also the fact that there's been issues in regards to the Bavuma camp, whether Bavuma should have played, whether he should have been rested, a player out of form, etc., etc. Even with that said, there was just too many things going around, and you almost feel like the whole cricket system just needs like a total reset. Now that Boucher's out the door, now that there's a new coach on the horizon, they should just start afresh, pick a captain, stick with him, make sure like they did with back in the day when they had Graham Smith, and pick a youngster and say, listen, this is the guy we're going to back, win or lose, we are going to back him, and then just make that harsh decisions, and hopefully that will change the course of the Proteas, going to another big tournament in future.
No, for sure, and you touched on the Themba Bavuma issue, and I think we're not going to go into the merit of that
Yeah.
discussion, but I think that is the one discussion. But then you have guys like a Quentin de Kock, Aiden Markram in that batting lineup that blows hot and cold as well. Both of them had a good start. They were pivotal. The one guy that I think that can perhaps come home with his head up high is a guy like David Miller, who proved that he can really play in those competitions. But he was let down a lot by his top order. One match they really produced the goods, and then you expect, you think, listen, Heinrich Klaassen will play this game. They mix it up. They just get the selections mixed up somehow. I think given the fact that the guy like Reza Hendricks, in the form that he was, did not play at all, that also contributed to some of the failures. But it was just not very, very good to watch. I think in some instances we really got our hopes up. Like you said, we thought this is our year. And I think halfway through the competition, they were actually branded by some pundits as one of the favorites to go on to win this competition. Deep in my heart, I could not believe that someone with any cricket knowledge would back the Proteas to go on and win a World Cup. But that was the case, and unfortunately, they just stood true to their reputation and crashed out in spectacular fashion. I think it was against Holland. Didn't they lose against the Netherlands? And crashed out in spectacular fashion. So from our side of the Têkkel Talk Show, and I think I speak for the whole community online as well, utterly disappointed again by our Proteas cricket team. And I think it's time that we perhaps just get into that zone where we watch their games, we enjoy, and we lower our expectations when it comes to, especially comes to World Cup.
But this is what we say, man. They win a great game against India. They play fantastic against them. Okay, albeit it was a rain game. They were looking so hard going to their first game, and then like, you see, die manne lyk asof hulle die goods het om die toernooi te wen as hulle vir India geslaan het. Comfortably, I think, very comfortably. India wasn't really in that game. And then they go and they lose against Pakistan, and then all of a sudden like, we're up against it in Netherlands, and it's just so disheartening. It's absolutely disheartening. I almost want to say, for a team that even over the years, if you compare it to for rugby, for example, the rugby, we've had lesser stars in this team, where the Proteas had more international. I'm talking about the years of the ABs, the Fafs, even the previous years of the Chanties, and we had like world-class stars, but yet they just couldn't do it. And yeah, there's definitely something hanging over the team. But what it is, I don't know, guys. Yeah, there's something also that the Proteas as a saak van gebed, guys.
Yeah. If you have your opinion online, drop us your comment. But like Alberich is saying, we just very, very disappointed. And I think early in the competition, it was Zimbabwe that beat Pakistan, and we thought, listen, Pakistan, in my opinion, obviously they lost against the English. In my opinion, they were, for me, along with New Zealand, I thought these are the two teams I need to watch. I think New Zealand and Pakistan should probably be the favorites. And then Pakistan went on. Actually, they did the South Africans a favor, and I thought, hey, here's a window of opportunity. Now they can perhaps, especially with the start they had. I think there was a rain-affected result for the South Africans where they busy. I think it was Zimbabwe. They were busy winning the match, and then the rain came down, and then all of a sudden, Pakistan lose, and then they had an outside chance. But it's we can talk about this for a long, long time, but really it goes beyond my expectation, my comprehension.
Is al 30 jaar van 92 World Cup, nee. It's 30 jaar. Look, if you look at 98, it was one of the ICC tournaments that Hansie Cronje still won. But gee whiz, it's 24 years since they've actually lifted a international trophy, like a global trophy. 24 years.
We came close with the run out between, I think, Alan Donald and Lance Klusener against the Australian team. Again, it was just that omen where it's not made for us. Perhaps we must just just accept that.
92 was Iran. 96 was West Indies played out to the skin. We were looking like we were going to win.
Yeah.
96 they beat us in the quarters. 99 was obviously, the Alan Donald issue referring to. 2003 to stand Sean Pollock with the papier in the hand, with the duck and low system, and
one run out.
One run short. I think the next World Cup was 2003. 2007, they get bundled out by Australia for like 90 odd runs in the semi-final, and every year it's just been, I think their best shot was 2015. I think when they had 2015, it was the likes of Dale Steyn, guys on top of the game, A.B. de Villiers, Faf du Plessis. These are guys on top of the game. And I think that was probably the best team that could have won. I think on paper they were just phenomenal. But yeah, Proteas, yes, you guys.
I think they lost against New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, in that World Cup as well.
So African-born player that hit that 16 and lost. But yeah, look. Yeah.
It's just, guys. And not too long ago, we were ranked. I think we're not too close to the number 1 ranking in Test cricket, which we can't believe ourselves. But now is the time to regroup, like you are saying, and perhaps build a side that can get us closer to what we were in this World Cup. It was really, really not something that we are proud of as fans.
Yeah. No, and just to add to that, I think a last point, CSA, pick a coach that will make a difference. For example, that's not necessarily, a polarized choice where some people say yes or no. Pick somebody that's going to galvanize the team, that's going to not be ashamed to make sure that players are picked according to their form, and not have tits and tats and whatever. Look, as klomp quickies wat hier kom. By the way, guys, I think a few weeks ago we asked, please get us. I think if I'm not mistaken, we spoke about Faf du Plessis' book. Please, guys, if you have Faf's number, we'd like to get him onto the show.
We'd like to have a chat with him. We'll get him in.
Yeah, we should definitely get him. Yeah, no, definitely, we should definitely get him onto the show.
Moving on quickly from one sport to another, it's not going all according to plan in Europe for the Springboks. It's the end of year tour. Started off, and I think we spoke about the fixture list, and we said that it's going to be tough against Ireland and France. It proved to be tough, but not without controversy. But before we get there, there we have the results. The Springboks narrowly losing against the Irish. I think the Irish deserve to win that one. A few controversial calls in that match, but I think the Irish perhaps 3 to 4 points better than the Springboks. The Springboks had their chances. I think squandered a lot of opportunities, but a fair result in my opinion, given the fact that there were a few debatable decisions by the referee. Munster, they, as expected, good gel team, but I think the South African A side, they would be very disappointed for not giving much more account of themselves. This is a decent South African A side, and they will be in action later on tonight again when they take on the Bristol Bears. And then the big game and the discussion point for us tonight is the French against the Springboks. The result there obviously going the way of the French, with both teams ending up with only 14 men on the field. And subsequent to that, we had Rassie Erasmus going on a rant about, was the refs called? Was it fine? He obviously took to social media. We'll have a little bit of discussions later on. But Alberic, it's been a tough start for the Springbok to this tour. We're hoping that they turn it around on Saturday against Italy. But we know it's an Italian team now with their tails in the air after beating the mighty, can I say the mighty Aussies? I think you have your sound on there.
Nee, ek sal nie so ver gaan met mighty nie, but yeah. Look, Aussies are top, always top, in the world in terms of being able to beat, at least when it comes to beating Italy, they should have done it very comfortably. But yeah, the Italians, at home, with their tails up, could be a different beast. That totally. We remember what Benetton even did, for example, against the Bulls a couple of years ago when they played in the URC, I think it's the Rainbow Cup final, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's before it became the URC. But yeah, I think the Boks have to pick up momentum this time around, and they have to make sure that they can actually show themselves to be worthy of the store. At the moment, they've just been very, very. Look, there has been moments, and we'll talk about the French game. There's been fantastic moments where they were actually looking like they were gonna be, they were gonna actually win the game against the French. Which again, don't forget, guys, we're playing them away. We've lost these teams by a few points. And it's not by big margins. And I'm pretty sure if they were playing in South Africa, it would have swung the other way around. So I'm not too perturbed about the results. However, there was the opportunities that we could have taken. Like you mentioned, there was opportunity in the Irish game that we could have taken. There has been a few players that have put their hand up, a few players that you don't know. And yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I think there's definitely a lot that can be taken away so far. But I think, going into the World Cup, you always want to go in with a win or two against these guys going into the World Cup.
Let's just touch on the French game. We're going to park the Irish game. I think it's 2 weeks down the line. We did not have a show to discuss it, but let's have a discussion about the French game. The Springboks did pretty well to stay in that match, losing Pieter-Steph du Toit very early to a red card, rightfully so. Unfortunately for Pieter-Steph du Toit, it seems to me losing his balance, going into a rut and making direct contact with the inside center of France, and that obviously constituting a red card.
Yeah.
But the Springboks did very, very well. They stayed in the game, they created a few opportunities, and then we know that later on in the second half, their captain, Dupont, would get a red card for taking Teslan Kobe out in the, and then this game could have gone either way. I still believe that that the Springbok side, even in its totality now, having to play with Damian Willemse at number 10, I still think that they would be better off playing Warwick Gelant at 15, along with Cheslin and along with Kurtley Arendse. I think that back three would just bring a different dimension. Taking nothing away from Willie, I think Willie had a decent game. Willie looked good when he slots in at first receiver, but I think the Willie the Roux story is done. It's been told. I think he's played his best rugby. It's now time for us to give Warwick a proper opportunity. I'm not sure why he's not in the side.
Exactly.
And then obviously we'll probably see them, the back three, being a little bit more attacking. I think Cheslin played well at fullback when he did get the opportunity to play there, but I think he's just going to be much better at wing in one-on-one situations. He's been very, very good in that position for the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, for sure, and 100% to your point. I mean, you have all these players that's going on tour. It feels like Fassi has fell by the wayside. It feels like Warwick Gelant has fallen by the wayside. Why are we sticking to these all the players? Let's take nothing away. Willie played when he came on, and he start off. He slots nicely into the backline. Does some fantastic plays. It really gets the backline going. We can't fault him there. Willie's defense is the issue, and there you can't fault the guy like Warwick, which is I think a bit better on defense. And then also Damian Willemse on the back, for example. So get the right players into the right position. Get the specialist players. And I'm glad Mani will get some more game time this weekend instead of coming up for 3 minutes at the end of a game. But I'm pretty sure and I'm hoping Mani will have some better time to actually show what a Springbok backline could look like. Guys, we're getting a glimpse of it in the URC, in the Stormers, where there's South African players playing some fantastic rugby. It's an opportunity for us to show the world, we're not just here to, stump car rugby and, sorry, man, I feel like I might be on a rant, like a Rassi rant here, but we have the stars in our backline. We have the skills. It's a matter of us just, for example, using those opportunities, putting the right players in those positions. And to your point, I mean, obviously on Saturday, there was glimpses of it. There was glimpses where take nothing away from a guy like Faf de Klerk. I think Faf actually brought some. I think the fact that Faf was off for a while, Faf has been second best. I still regard him as second to Jaden. I think that has almost lifted his game. He's almost been kicking less. He's looking more unpredictable, and he feels like a tad nippier than what he used to be. So that's what competition does. The minute you bring a player, other players will step up. But if you're using the same guys in the same positions, the guys that are actually on form will fall away. The fussies, and also, for example, Warigaland, they just seem to be not in the mix anymore.
Yeah, I know for sure. And last week, late in the week, we saw a guy like Jasper Visser having to withdraw. What a better opportunity then to get Ivan Roos straight into the starting lineup in a position where, I would say almost like a specialized number 8. They opted to go with Quagga. So, it's just very strange. And you would see if you watch the French game that although they are very attacking side, they thrive on territorial advantage. And you could see in the France game that they did everything in their power. When they did kick, they tried to kick the ball away from Cheslin and kick it away from Curtin. Yeah. They kicked it to Willie Leroux. And we know Willie's got great vision, but he's not as attacking as a Warwick Galant, as a Fassi, as a Cheslin Kobe, as a Kurtley Arendse, as a Makazolo Mapimpi catching the ball and running it back. He would probably first look at where's the support runners, and that all contributes to our ability to attack when teams do kick poorly against us. We normally try to win back the territorial deficit by kicking the ball away instead of taking the gap. And we saw glimpses of Kurtley Arendse. So when he does run at them, he becomes a problem, especially in the second half. He was brilliant, and in my opinion, one of the better players on the park. So 100%. I think hopefully they'll get it right against Italy. We should beat Italy on any given Saturday.
We should
beat Italy. I'm backing the Boks to do so, and I'm backing them to beat the Italy by at least 15 points or more. But then it will probably stick up.
Sorry, I was almost going to say Tutti's last words. We should have beaten Italy.
And if they do beat Italy, they get the conference. We all set it up nicely for that last test match against England. We know England will face the All Blacks this weekend, so that's also a mouth-watering fixture. But I think if we do beat Italy, if we can beat England well, I think I will be much more tolerant about the performance. I think taking the result into account against France, I think the Springboks really can walk away from that fixture, keeping their head up high. I don't think they played to their potential against Ireland, though. But still, we still believe that this Boks side can get better. I'm not going to go into the debate. I'm not going to go into the debate now whether Damien should play 10, whether he should play 12, whether he should play 15. What I want to say is, if you have a guy like Damien in your side, you have Mani in your side, why would you then select 2 inside centers if you could have moved Damien to either of the centers? You select Andre Esterhuizen and Damien Dian. For me, I'm just...
Drop that mic, Aini.
It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm thinking, surely it would have made sense earlier. Mani was not there. He was with the SAA side. We don't have Elton. We have Pollard injured. Now you're in a situation where you want to drop Jesse Kriel. You bring in Andre Esterhuizen, you select him at 12, you move your 12 to 13, and you play with a mix of 10, and you have a specialized 10 on the bench. Listen, it goes beyond my understanding of rugby, but let the people that get paid to do it explain.
Ek wil gesê dat ons is kinders hier. Ons ken maar ons
So let's hope Damien gets it right. I think he was better against France. Probably because they took the kicking duties away from him. He was better, but you don't want to have that player in a position where he needs to now see, is Billy taking this ball as the first receiver, or am I taking the ball?
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. But listen, I just got a message now. Our guest is online, so we know they are doing rehearsals. There's a big announcement tonight we're going to be making. They are doing rehearsals right now, so we don't want to keep them up. So let's get them on the show. We'll continue. We've got some Têkkel mail to go through as well. So let's welcome the music director of That Boogie Show, JJ, to the fore. JJ, how's it?
Hey guys, I'm doing awesome, and yourself?
Lekker, lekker, lekker. So JJ, look, thanks for joining us, man. So JJ,
Yeah,
you're the music director of this wonderful show. I've been coming to the show for the last few years, right? And
yeah,
I can tell you, it's and truly an amazing show. It's at the Artscape Theatre. JJ's going to tell us everything about it. How long has it been around? When was the first show? Give us all the information. And we want people to be listening very closely to what JJ is going to be saying. So, JJ, when was the first show? When did it start off? Etc. Etc.
So thanks for having me. The first show they had, it was in 2010.
Okay.
It was 2010, and it was called. Um, I remember, Michael Jackson. Do you remember? Uh,
Yes.
but they did a play on that. I remember in 2010, and it was at the CTICC. So it had a long stint at the CTICC, about 5 or so years. I joined the team at around in 2014. I joined the team just as a auxiliary keyboard player,
Yeah.
and I've been that. After that, I think Marlene Leroux from Artscape. She attended one of the shows at the CTICC, and she was like, "But why is the show not at the Artscape? The show needs to be in the Artscape because of the caliber and just of how amazing the show was." And the directors, which is called the directors of the production, which the production company is called Ganarama Productions, and it is made up of Gary Naidu, which is the Ghana in and Rafik Memon, which is the Rama in Ganarama. So Gary Naidu and Rafik Memon. Rafik is the writer for the show, and Gary is the talent, basically. So the two of
Yeah.
them run this production company, and they told Molly, "Look, make us an offer that we can't refuse." And they did it, and ever since, I think I would say 2015, since 2015, we've been in the Artscape. Been running in the Artscape, sold out shows every single night. The show runs
Wow.
1 week for 1 week in the year for 7 shows. So it runs on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, single shows, then double shows on a Saturday and on a Sunday. And every show is stacked out to the brim.
Yeah.
So I've been the music director for the past 3 years. Roshay, 3? Yeah, about 3, 4 years I've been the music director. They asked me earlier, but time just never was on my side. So I took it on the challenge because it's a really amazing show. I mean, look, this show, I'm young, so the songs that we do in this show really opened up my horizons. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got things from this year. We've got Madonna in the show. We've got obviously Michael Jackson has to be in the show. You cannot not have a show, That Boogie Show, without Michael Jackson in there. We've got Greece. We've got songs from Greece in the show. So I mean, we've got everything in here. We've got disco songs, you name it, ballads, the stylistics, anything you want, you can think of, it will be in the show. We've got Whitney Houston in here. So it's a really all-around. Ricky Martin also makes an appearance in the show. So it's quite a all-around show. It's a 2.5-hour show running at the Artscape from the 23rd till the 29th, I think it is. However, there's only tickets still available for the 23rd and the 26th. Otherwise, you won't find tickets anywhere else.
No, for sure. I mean, there you have it, the 23rd, 26th. There's running between those dates. Are you saying there's only those two dates available, and the 23rd and 26th?
Those are the only dates available, unless people, very special people who's got tickets for those other days. Other than
Okay. That's
these
it.
are the days that you want to get tickets for. Yeah.
And that's it. At the moment, you guys are on rehearsal, right? Can you give us
here, so I won't
Are you allowed to
you
give us a sneak peek just to see what everybody's doing?
Well, right now they're all waiting for me because I'm the music director. But this is Rochelle
away from them.
over here. We've got Rochelle Europa, an amazing beast on the bass. We've got JP Crouch on drums. Like I said, our production company is Ganarama, which is the show is written by Rafik Memon. We've got Gary, his partner. We've got a cast of six talented vocalists, all from around here, from South Africa, Cape Town as well. They all perform on big stages. I mean, they Some of them are like barnyard theater guys and stuff like that. So we've got a strong 6-pack vocals. I don't know, Cape Town people will probably know Candice Thornton, or the jazz heads over there will know she's also in the show. We've got Candice Thornton, John E. We've got Lucy Tops, Ashley. We've got Leande. I think I've covered everybody. Gary, that's a vocal too. And then we've got a 5-piece band, a live 5-piece band that will be backing them. So everything is live. So we've got keys, bass, drums, guitars, saxophones, and then we still have a dance company, the Dance Block, that will also be adding to that. So yeah, it's a massive show.
It's a full show. I know I'm gonna be there. Now, JJ, just with that said, you have something special for our viewers. We're gonna announce it not live on the show, but we'll tell it later on. The question that we asked you earlier, and you have to give the answer. What year was the first show held in the Ganorama? You guys please comment either on Facebook or on the YouTube channel, and let us know. You can stand to win 2 tickets to what date? Do you know what date it is?
It'll be the opening show on the Wednesday.
Opening show.
That is opening show. Yeah, that's opening night.
Opening night.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot be entering, but it's open to you guys on the virtual platforms. So we want you to comment. The question is, when was the first show? And as you heard, it's a show not to be missed. So there you have it. Sold out, only available tickets on the 23rd and the very last day. So here you have your chance now to get your hands on to 2 very exclusive tickets. You go onto our social media platform, you answer the question. We'll populate the question in text again, but the question obviously, when was the first show of That Boogie Show held? And you can obviously walk away with a set of double tickets from the Têkkel Talk Show and the people there. JJ Peterson, very, very, very.
And thank you, JJ.
I got one more. I guess for all the Têkkie people, I tell you what, I'll do this. If the people want to come out and they want to do, if they do a group booking, okay, if they do a group booking of 20 people or so, 20 people, I'll give them the tickets for $100. So if you come in a group of 20. You book 20 tickets, I'll give you the tickets at $100 per person. So
amazing. That's 60 rand per ticket. That's 60 rand per ticket you guys are saving. That's a massive saving. Thank you so much, JJ.
It's a good time. People come out and you can have your reunions and things like that. That's what a lot of people do. And come dressed up, We've got best dress competitions running, so look the part.
Lekker. JJ, thank you so much. We're not going to keep you up. Have a good one. Thanks a lot for your time. And we'll let you know who the winners are on the show later on. Thanks, JJ.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy.
Thanks, man.
Bye. Yes. Have a good one. Lekker. Yeah, Barrick. Yeah, it sounds like a lekker show.
Very exciting.
Hopefully, we'll be able to get our hands on some tickets. Look,
I'm there. I've got my tickets. Yeah, no,
I think you must make sure that I get my tickets as well. Get them onto CompuTicket, or I'm not sure where you want to purchase, but there you have it. You have some of the details. Get your hands on the tickets if you want to buy. But now we have an exclusive offer. Pop your answer onto our social media platform. We'll put the question up on our Facebook page once more during the show, but also after the show. And then those who can obviously get the answer right, I bet we'll probably announce it by, let's say, end of business tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, so guys, please, by end of business tomorrow, we'll let you know who the winners are or winners of a set of 2 tickets. So yeah, the question is, what year was the first Boogie Show? So guys, that was in the interview. So please go back. You can rewind. You can do whatever you want to do. The answer will be there. So yeah, only correct answers will be accepted.
There we have it. So it was nice chatting to these. I'm going to be honest, I've never been to one of the shows. I've heard a lot about it. I've never in the existence been to one of the shows, but perhaps this year is going to be different. Perhaps we should pop in and give it a chance and see, because it sounds spectacular. A lot of work behind the scenes, rehearsals and everything to be ready for the 23rd when the show do obviously kick off. Let's just, before we get into our final discussion about the Springboks, I think we had some Têkkel mail. We had some fans sending up some messages, and we had a guy who went out to go and watch some rugby. Clayton, out. I think he stays out in the Netherlands, but he went to go and watch some of the games, and it was a New Zealand side playing against the Irish, the New Zealand 15 playing against the Irish, and daar sê hy ouens hier is 'n paar pics en video's van die Ierland A-span wat in die New Zealand se 15-tal gespeel het in Ierland. Atmosfeer was great tussen die Irish fans. Dit was 'n lekker game gewees en daar kyk en klote hy skakel gewoonlik in daar uit Holland uit. En daar het hy vir ons 'n paar foto's gedeel. Ja, lyk my het nog 'n lekker seatsoek gehad of lyk hy staan
yeah. Yeah, and he was right on top of the action. Yeah, right on top. He actually sent us a video as well. So let's play this clip. He sent us a video as well.
Hy sê 3 dae wat gedruk word.
That's it.
Was daar.
Dit is die Vrydag aan game, né?
Hy ouens soos ek gesê het, hy's bietjie af daar, maar dit lyk vir my hulle die 3 dae gegee. But great daarso is Clayton weer wat net daarso staan met die legendariese Rassie Erasmus, as my oë my nie misgis nie. Hy Têkkel team hier is so 'n paar foto's van die game tussen Ierland en die Springbokke. Awesome experience en hy deel ons sentiment. Wat 'n pity oor die result. Ons wil nie veel van daai geselsie, maar ons weet natuurlik daai wedstryd, dit was naalskraap en die Ire wat daai wedstryd gewen het 19 punte teenoor 16 haas. Dis albei Suid-Afrikaners as ek nie mis Suid-Afrikaans gebore manne. Hulle is daar so, dit lyk vir my hulle daar so die lekker sitplek gehad om die Springbokke te ondersteun. Daar staan die man net voor die
stadion.
Ja, what an experience.
Ja, awesome. Ek dink hy het 'n lekker ding. Die Vrydag aan was die Ire en die All Black A-span en dan die Saterdag was hy die Ire teen die Bokke. So hy het 'n lekker naweek gehad van rugby. Dankie vir hy pics, Clayton. Nice to see it, and yeah, please, if anybody's in Bristol tonight, please send us your pics. We'd like to show it on the show next week.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you are also in South Africa, we know there's a lot of mini fan parks. Die braaivleisvuure gaan lekker brand. Yeah. So if you are in South Africa as well, you're supporting the Springboks. I think they're kicking off South African time here, Barrick, at 21:30. The South African A side playing Bristol Bears tonight. I heard that we will see one of the bright stars, and I think a guy that would play for a lot of more test matches for South Africa, Sasa Zulu, will start at number 10 tonight. I'm pretty excited about this youngster, one of my favorite young players going around, and I'm hoping that he comes good. And then on Saturday, there you have the South Africans should beat this Italian team. But it's the worst time now to play Italy. After a long time, Italy would be very, very confident after getting a result against Australia.
Oh, 100%. And obviously with that said, I think the amount of players that we have in our team that should be putting their hands up properly should definitely be able to put, I won't say necessarily bury the Italians, but they should be putting a decent score upon on Italy. Italy's never been a side that's even been able to beat, the Six Nation sides, the other Six Nation sides on a consistent basis. And I don't see why they should be doing that towards South Africa. So yeah, can't take them lightly, but however, there's a good game for us to build confidence going into that final big match against the English.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then just touching on that, we know that apart from the rugby, we know that later on in this week, the Football World Cup will kick off, and through the course of our series, keeping load shedding in mind, we will also get one or two football experts to give us their predictions. A few wonderful powerhouses of football nations in action at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and hopefully we'll get some experts in to talk about our football experiences as well, and who do they believe will go all the way to lift that World Cup later on in the month. And we will add, we are quite aware about the playoffs. Our Barracks adopted team, West Bank Rugby Club, doing very, very well in the playoffs. So we will try and probably be in the semi-finals as a Têkkel Talk Show, try and get some media accreditation. Semi-finals taking place in Wellington about 2-3 weeks from now, and we'll follow those semi-finals. And we're hoping to see the home team, West Bank, obviously in my area, hoping to see them go all the way, getting into the semi-finals. But we will latch onto those playoff games, and hopefully we'll broadcast some of those footage to you on the Têkkel Talk Show at a later stage. But Barrick, it was good to be back. We are hoping that Eskom drops some of the load shedding. We know we're shuffling between level 2 and 3 now. The moment it goes to level 3 and 4, it obviously has a major impact on what we try to do as a show. But hopefully we'll be able to broadcast week in and week out from now and for the next foreseen weeks.
Sorry. I think, 100%. I think load shedding has affected everybody, and we're trying to mitigate. I think with all that's going on, we're trying to get, we've had a lot of guests out there to turn down and shift around and move. So there has been a bit of a stop-start for us, but we hoping to build momentum and making sure that the guests, are lined up and that, load shedding doesn't have a chance, because it either affects 3 of us, myself, Aini, or the guests. One of us is always affected, so or maybe all of us. That depends. So we definitely want to see. We definitely going to have some all our guests back online in the upcoming weeks. And with that said, I think with all that's been going on in the world of rugby, I just heard now that Rassie is off for he has got some time off. So if Rassie, if he wants to get online, please, you can give us a shout. We'd like to hear what Rassie says, because Rassie has been quite vocal over the last few weeks. So Rassie, if you're watching Têkkel, please give us a shout. You got some time off, give us a shout, and let us know. This is a safe zone. Yeah,
well, it's the safe zone. We'll obviously give him our opinion about his doings on social media, and obviously Rassie open to a very good debate. But unfortunately now, for him, it seems to me he's got a 2-week ban. He will not be part of the English test and also Italian test. So he will not be part of the box squad for the preparation. A very strange ruling by the IRB, specifically seeing that Rassie said he was not talking about the referee. Maar obviously IRB was nie onder 'n kalkoen uitgebroei nie. Hulle weet presies wat Mr. Rassie daar gekry doen het, en hulle sê dan vir Rassie geel kaart. Hy moet vir 'n paar minute of 'n paar dae of 'n paar weke langs die veld gaan sit.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, whether you agree with Rassie or not, there's a lot to be said about it. He's been in the media for more than the longest time now, and whether it's good or bad, he makes the news. So I think we all have to. We're waiting for the next tweet now. What's the next tweet going to be? It's almost like waiting for Donald Trump to say something. Donald Trump went out of the presidency in the States. It was like, okay, now life is boring now again. So it was like, with Trump there, it was always a shake-up. So look, let's see how the next few weeks will go. And we definitely hope that going into future games, that the referees don't necessarily look at us, maybe give us the back end of certain decisions. Maybe they give us a good decision. That could be the argument on the opposite side. But there's a lot of, hoorah, and I think it's polarized a lot of people, whether you're a Bok fan or not.
Yeah, I know for sure. But, I think we're still better off with Rassie in our corner. I think he's a wonderful rugby brain. Hopefully he'll just, he gets the balance right in terms of when he needs to speak, or when he needs to allow Jacques Nienaber, Dion Davids and Juan Dilestik to do the talking, and he needs to take a bit of a backstage approach. But, all in all, I think he's contributing immensely to what the Springboks are achieving at the moment. And he will be pivotal if the Springboks are able. Remember, the Springboks going into the World Cup next year, we're not going to rank as one of the top 3 favorite sides. Even if we do turn this around, we beat the English, we will not be as ranked as one of the favorites. The New Zealand side, along with the Irish, along with the French And obviously, given the English and their reputation in World Cups, I believe that the big pundits will still give them the pip. And the Springboks, along with Wales, Scotland, and the like, will not be ranked as the favourites to walk away with the 2023 Rugby World Cup. But we've done it before, and with Rassie in our corner, we can certainly do it again.
We do. I think we do better when we don't have the favourites tag at all. I think that's when we do good. And I think it's a matter of, again, like you mentioned, striking that balance. I think the call from us as the Têkkel team for the last year, maybe 2 years, is just mix it up a bit with some youngsters and get the youngsters going. I think I would have loved to have seen Evan Rose at least have some 5 or 6 test matches under his belt by now already. I'd like to have seen Mandy Libbok, brought in, soon. But there's a lot of young talent, and we're excited to see how the Henko van Wyks will be used going into next year's World Cup, because there's definitely skill out there, guys. There's definitely the talent out there. Let's give these guys the respect. They're playing their hearts out every weekend, and it's a matter of just making sure that they're not, the sashas are not just thrown by the wayside. The sashas are, in line, not necessarily in line, but in the Springbok squad going into the World Cup, that it should be at least our second or third choice going into that World Cup.
Oh, for sure. And like you have said, or like you said now, we're hoping that we can really get that form. Let's get the form right, and no better way than to win the last 2 games on the end of the year, to get the confidence back and make sure that that we do go into the Rugby World Cup at least as a team with an outside chance. Because taking into account the French performance, which last week, which I believe wasn't very, very good. The week prior to that, they played the Aussies. The Aussies could have easily won that game. So I think the French side, they are not as unbeatable in France like we thought. But but taking nothing away from them, I do believe that if they get it right on the Saturday or on match day, they can beat any side in the world. But I think the rest of the countries, South Africa and Australia included, they would take a lot of heart out of the performances, especially coming that close. Remember, this is the French side that was said they will walk away with the title. And I don't think that they would be very, very satisfied with their performances the last 2 weeks against Australia and Africa.
No, 100%. If you look at what happened in our game, that big pack of forwards that everybody was talking about was nullified by after 7 or when did Peter Steff go off in the third?
I think it's 11 minutes in.
11 minutes in. For the rest of the game, we're playing with 7 forwards, which meant that the box were putting in an effort, and for that rest of that, I think 40 minutes before the punt went off, they were really looking the part. The forwards of the French were looking in the back. We were dominating them in the collisions. We were making sure we get in the hits on the breakdowns. And then also, if you look at Intermark, so much has been said about Intermark at 10. Is with all due respect to Damon, really kind of gave him, he didn't play the best game that it was his best game, but however, he was still an edge better than what Intermac was. Because Intermac kind of just faded away. These were the guys that we were like all depending, these are the guys that's going to be playing and making a difference. But the box really, I think the box did show definitely in the forward pack, there's something to be said, when it comes to what they have to deliver. And going into next year's World Cup, you're waiting for guys like Lua to return from injury, waiting for guys like R.G. Snyman to return. There's definitely those players that are going to be, making that bolster that box squad and the box squad and the bomb squad to make sure that we have a full-on team that's going to be able to take any forward pack apart in that World Cup. And so I think, at that point of view, if there's something to take out of that, is the fact that we did at least dominate the French forwards, which is a good one going into next year's World Cup.
No, for sure. Guys, just remember, we are going to try and keep to our Thursday slot. So we're going to ask you to subscribe to the channel. We're going to ask you to keep an eye on our Facebook page. We know sometimes at 99 we have to cancel. It's beyond our control. But for now, going into the next few weeks, leading up to the end of the year tour, the last game was at least for the English, and then obviously going into the Football World Cup, we will be at 8 o'clock Thursday evenings on YouTube. We will put our notices also out on Facebook. So we will try and generate that momentum going forward. I know it's been quiet for, I think, 2 weeks, Alberic. We didn't have a show, perhaps a little bit longer. But we are back, and we are going to have a chat next week. Hopefully, we'll have a chat with a rugby expert that's going to take us through his perspective of what went wrong in the first few tests, but also what he thinks would be needed for the Boks to be steered into good territory, at least going into the Rugby World Cup 2023. Alberic, any last words from your side?
Just this. What year was the first Boogie Show? So, guys, please don't forget that. Drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram, Facebook or YouTube, and you could win yourself 2 sets of tickets. We'll announce the winner. I need Ulat Mora, Salon Se, Cecil Morant, and we'll announce the winner of that 2 sets of tickets to the Boogie Show African Artscape on the 23rd of November, which is next week, guys. Brilliant show, you shouldn't miss it. It's going to be fantastic. And if you don't get a chance to win tickets, please go check out the show. We had the music director of the show that said, if you guys are going to book, and let's call it Têkkelers. I was last praat with Têkkelers. If there's a group booking of 20 Têkkelers, then you get tickets at 100 Rand a ticket instead of 160 Rand. That's a massive saving. So guys, please drop us a line if you want to create that group and you need a few more people. Let us know. We can start chatting on WhatsApp and on WhatsApp or WhatsApp line. We flash that quickly, and then we can start letting you guys know exactly who's available and who's keen, and then we can also put that help you to assist to get that block of 20 together. It's a fantastic show. You guys shouldn't miss out on it.
There we have it. Time has flown by. It's been a nice discussion, and we're obviously going to keep an eye on later on our SAA side as they play in Europe in a midweek game against Bristol. But stay tuned. We'll have a good chat about our Italian game as well on our social media platforms. We will not have a video, but we will interact with you on our WhatsApp line, on our Facebook page, and then a few weeks from now, obviously the big game that everybody was looking forward to because of tradition. The Springboks will play their last game on the end of the year tour against the English, and hopefully then we can be back and make sure that we silence the critics with a good victory against the English as well. Alberic, was nice chatting to you. We'll do this next week Thursday at 8 o'clock once again. Maar daar het jy dit in die hoekie @TêkkelChat op YouTube, soos op Facebook of soos op Twitter. En tot volgende week donderdag. Stay safe and keep the messages coming. Cheers.